Hey, I'm Red. Today we're gonna go over guitar melodies, more specifically, high-energy guitar melodies like Lemonade by Internet Money. I have broken down the simple secrets behind making a melody like this one, and today I'll show you how you can start easily applying them to make your own beats. With that said, let's begin. Okay, the first thing I want to show you before you decide whether you want my advice on this is the final melody I created using the simple steps shown later in this video. If you like the melody, then I got a bunch of tips for you so you can start making your own right away. And if not, well, I have a bunch of other melody breakdowns in my channel for you. With that said, here's the final melody. Lemonade's melody has two main elements, and those are the guitar melody and the guitar chords for the verses. Let's start with the guitar chords and build the melody from that. This beat was made at 140 BPM in the E minor scale, by the way. Step 1. Which chords to use? This is a quick remake of Lemonade's guitar melody progression. I'm playing this in a piano right now, but later I'll replace this for my actual acoustic guitar. Right off the bat, we can assume that there are 4 chords hidden in here, and they are placed like this, with the second and 4th chords one beat too early. As I've said in past tutorials, moving the 2nd and 4th chords around can affect the energy of a chord progression. Usually, putting them one beat late makes it feel more emotional and soulful, and putting them one beat too early makes it feel more fun and playful. In this case, this melody goes for a more energetic vibe, so that's why these chords are one beat too early. Now we have 3 notes here, E, B, and C. We know that in a guitar the thirds are usually played 1 octave higher, so let's try and bring that down. Now we can see a chord. Now this is simply an arpeggiated E chord. This is probably a D major based off of this chord, but that leaves this note. So to see if it fits the chords, let's move it 1 octave higher. And it would be here, so it fits. So the second chord is a D major. Applying the same process to the other 2 chords lets us find that these are a C minor and a D major respectively. This is the progression with just the chords. So that's our first and second step. Step 1. Choose 4 chords, play the 2nd and the 4th chord one beat too early. Step 2. The 1st and the 3rd chord should be arpeggiated. Now onto step 3, 4, and 5. Where to place the notes. I've already gotten a bit ahead of myself in the last step, as we now know that our chords should be played like this. Now for the melody, I want to point out 3 main things. 1. The main notes of the melody leave a bunch of space open in the actual melody. This space is filled with the embellishments and such, but the main notes are still very spacey. The notes of the melody always start going up and end going down. And lastly, there are a few extra notes right at the end to add variation to the loop and make it feel less repetitive. So those are our steps 2, 3, and 4. Spacey melody, 1 note every beat. Start with an ascending melody and descending, and add extra notes in the end. That's all the steps we need to make a melody of our own. So for that, I'm going to use my real acoustic guitar and add these effects to it. A cut at 12k Hz, the Vinyl 1 preset on RC20, some reverb, and delay. For the chords, I'm going to do something very similar to that quick remake of Lemonade's melody I showed you. I'm doing this because I intend the end product to sound a lot different, but just bear with me for a second. With that said, here are the chords. Now for the melody, I'm not going to play the melody as a part of the chords. I want this to be its own thing, but I still want it to have that high energy Lemonade has. So for that, I'm still going to follow our steps 3 and 4. Spacey melody, 1 note every beat, start with an ascending melody and descending. For the melody, we're going to use mainly the notes from our chord. So to make this melody have a bunch of empty space, I'm going to concentrate the notes mainly in these regions. The first part of the bar 1 and 3 and all bars 2 and 4. We still have this much space empty. So let's start with a simple ascending progression, like this. And now I want the second part to respond to that, to resolve it, so to speak. The first part of the melody presents a problem. By that, I mean it ends on the 5th. The 5th note of any scale is the note with the most tension in it. It feels like it wants to be resolved. And the second part will take that energy and release it by going down like this. If we left the melody there, it would feel empty and repetitive and also incomplete. So we introduce the next part with these extra notes here. See how it feels like it wants to keep going? Well, let's resolve it with these 2 extra notes going down. This will end our release. This will make it feel like it's gone down enough. It will feel done because this note is our tonic note. We are making this melody in the C# minor scale, and this is our C#, so it has a feeling of home in it. Now we've gone from max tension, or the 5th, to home, the root. But we don't want the melody to end here, so we need to introduce our next problem. We need to build tension back up. So for that, I'll add this simple ascending progression that will end here, right before our first bar takes off again. And with that, the loop should feel complete. And now I'll add some extra notes to make the pattern feel a little less boring. This is what that sounds like. Also note that this progression is following the steps we wrote earlier. It has a spacey melody. It starts ascending and descending, kinda, and it adds extra notes in the end. So this is a completely different melody but following the same blueprint. That's why I made this video, so you can create something dope without having to do it all on your own. Lastly, for some extra vibes, I want to add this vocal chop progression. So for that, I'll use the hook preset on arcade and play this simple pattern. And add these effects to it. Cut out the high end, reverb and delay. And that's about it for our melody. Now simply add some drums for the verse. And some drums for the drop. And done! That's how to make a high-energy guitar melody like Lemonade by Internet Money. Here's our 5 steps once again in case you want to screenshot this, use it later. And before I play the final beat, if you want to download the melody loop I made in this video, there's a free download link in the description. I make 2-beat breakdowns a week, so if you want more of this, subscribe. And as always, see ya!